We're going to take an in-depth look at 49ers running back Raheem Mostert, who bounced around numerous clubs before getting his shot with the 49ers and earning 952 yards from scrimmage, 10 touchdowns last year, almost a little more than 5.5 yards per carry. One of the first things you notice, flexion. Good flexion in the ankles, knees, and hips to be able to make this cut downhill on a play that's designed primarily to go outside. Does a really good job of this on a consistent basis. Then you see the hip swivel. And there's some promising hip swivel on this play. See how he just kind of is able to swivel his hips to get around the defender working from the inside out. That's a really nice job by Mostert. It's a promising thing. Now, the first thing most people notice is speed. And you can see that right here, him just working away from that linebacker. If he gets a one-on-one in the flat against a linebacker working east-west like number 50, you can forget it, because this guy has track speed. Another thing that's nice about Mostert is his ability to really make a couple of steps to transition from east-west to north-south, like those two quick steps there. It allows him to get downhill fast and pull through 54's reach. Really nice job, and he's combative at the end. And that combativeness is something that you're going to notice, a little bit later in this game. But you see the stiff arm there on number 24, and at the finish there, that's really nice. But what's also notable is the ability to read penetration against number 44 there. There's a quick little read, and he makes that split-second decision to really be able to make that jab step and cut downhill so he can get inside out on the defender. We're going to look at it one more time from this red zone view. That plant right there and to get inside. Now, it's a little bit of a long step, and that's something that can be problematic for him, and we're going to show you some situations where it is. But this is a really nice play by Mostert. Quick recognition, quick footwork, sharp enough for him to work inside, then back outside, and then he finishes the play. And for a 197-pound guy, I like that he finishes hard. I like that he takes it to the defense. You're going to see him take it to the defense here, even though you might argue that he shouldn't be placing it on the face mask of the linebacker, number 45 here. You're going to see the stiff arm that he puts out. Really nice job right here. I mean, at least in terms of where he wants it to go. And you notice that also he scrapes inside number 44, just really close to him, so he maximizes the space between himself and the defender. We're going to talk about that more later, especially as it relates to gap running, but this is a nice play. As we see, there's promise for Mostert to become a really efficient runner with his footwork. And you can even see it here with some of that penetration and then be able to cut back inside Grady Jarrett. We're going to take a closer look at this. He needs a little bit of a runway to do that right now. So when you can do toss or you can give him a gap play, he does this better than when it's zone or there's penetration. He's running up the middle and has to make an adjustment more than one gap over. But this particular play, it's a nice job of him being able to read the leverage of the outside defenders. You're going to see it right here where I circle them. I think right here, you're going to see them get circled. All the helmets are to the outside. He sees that, and he makes this nice cut inside the pursuit of Grady Jarrett, number 97, one of the best defensive tackles in the league. He does a great job of being able to make that sudden drop of the weight, cut back inside. So there's some promise for him as an inside zone runner as much as it is for him to be an outside zone runner. Part of that is the willingness to cut plays back to the inside and also having the efficiency of footwork to do it. You see some promise with his hips. We've talked about the hip swivel, but also being able to point the toe and open the hips to be able to get downhill or point in a different direction. You'd like to see him do this a little bit better on certain plays we've seen earlier, but this play is a nice example of where he's able to kind of point that toe and to be able to get downhill. And you see he fumbles this ball. He takes a hard hit and he loses the fumble. Didn't have a lot of fumbles, but you saw that little toe point right there to get him downhill. It's that type of opening of the hips that is really promising for an inside game. And you can see it again right there. You see that nice little jump cut with the point of the toe. Nice point of the toe there. And this is very efficient, though there's a little bit of a hop or a jump stop to make that happen. But there are times where he can be a little less efficient because of the fact that he's hopping into his jumps or his cuts, like that jump cut right there. He probably costs himself a step here. It's still a productive play, but you can see that hop right there wasn't necessary. He could literally just take another step and open the the hips and just point the toe, and he'd have another step gained in this situation, which would have helped him, whether it was that cut back to the inside downhill or whether it was to get further outside on number 26. While the play was successful, you just want to see a little bit more efficiency. As you can see, it works out just fine for him when he's running one gap over. But here's a good example of him where you can see he's heading downhill. You see that number 24 here is going to be in a situation where he's going to read him. And you can see that there's a double team right there that's going to go to 24. If Mostert, knowing that this is a double team over here, he could make a more efficient step, a wider step. But see, he hops into the line there, and his front foot, that first lead step, is pointing towards these two defenders crashing into him. Because of that, he doesn't get the optimal turn, and because he takes the hop, he can't make that turn. But if he did, look where he could get that block on number 24, and he could bend that back to the outside. So that's something you can get better at. Same thing here. This is one where he makes a nice initial cut, but watch him turn here, and you see that leg drift, goes a little too far into number 31. He makes that first step pretty well, but he has to really follow up and swing that back leg around a little bit more so he can really flatten out. Nick Chubb is great at that. So if he can do those two things a little bit better, there's a lot of promise to what he can do as an inside runner, as well as working inside out and outside in tighter spaces where he could really begin to excel. But the principles of how to really play the position are here. I mean, this is a nice job of him being able to work inside out on a play that's designed to go outside, give that little press to the inside right there, draw everybody in, and then work to the perimeter and then make that nice cut back inside. Another reason that Raheem Mostert had a good season with the 49ers is the fact that he's a very good gap runner. When you're a good gap runner, one of the things that you do is you understand how to maximize the space at the line of scrimmage here. And that means scraping the back of your lead blockers or blockers who are setting inside so that you can maximize the space between yourself and the pursuing defender. This defender, the linebacker over pursues, he scrapes inside, hits that really well. And it's no accident with Raheem Mostert. You're going to watch him here against the Packers. Same thing, though, the lead blocker isn't a puller as much as it is a lead fullback. Works inside of that lead fullback, gets inside of number 31, and when we see the red zone view of it, you're going to see just what I mean. Again, he scrapes his tight end as his tight end works inside on number 64 and then the linebacker 50 here. You see him scraping the back there, really maximizing the distance between himself and the pursuing defender by getting as close to that blocker that's kind of pinning the defender inside as possible, and he gets through that, and he's going to score because the defender is not able to get a direct angle on him. This scrape technique also works when you're going to the outside. This is a perimeter run behind a fullback lead-off tackle, and you're going to watch Mostert as he begins his approach. First, he's going to press to the inside number 44, so that allows the force player to actually delay his start because he's going to have to account for the inside. But then Mostert scrapes around the corner, and that forces the defender not to really get a great angle because he has to see Mostert work off that fullback. And when Mostert gets outside, then he's able to cut back inside because he's caused that defensive back to delay his approach a little bit. You're going to watch it again here. You're going to watch him with every outside run. This is a good job to be able to press it inside and then scrape around the edge and cut inside that defensive back. Really nice job there. Thanks again for watching. For more RSP Boiler Room videos, you can check out my YouTube channel, Matt Waldman's RSP Film Room, and my site, www.mattwaldmanrsp.com.